Hey, welcome to another adventure in old code, the place on the internet where we take a look at old QBasic code we wrote back in the day, and we laugh, we cry, we cringe, but mostly we just hang our heads in shame at what came out of our brains. Thank you for joining me today. It has been 3 long years since I've done one of these videos, and I thought, why the heck not start this up again? They were pretty fun. Maybe I'll do even another one after this. We'll see. But lots has happened in my life in the last 3 years, which I won't go into because it's none of your business. But something that did happen is the rise of AI. And what AI has enabled me to do is to learn things quickly that were too difficult to learn in the past. And so one of these things that I'm really excited to use is called 86box. 86box is a hardware emulator. And I'm going to pull it up here. So in the past videos, I was basically doing everything in DOSBox, which is a software emulator. It emulates DOS. But as you've seen in previous episodes, if you haven't, let me tell you, we always had to slow down the programs as they were written. So if there was a wait for 1,000 empty for loops, we had to increase it by a factor of 10 just to get it to run kind of normal speed. Our hardware was too powerful. It didn't simulate the actual hardware of the day. And so what I've done is I've come back to 86box, which is a x86 PC hardware emulator, which emulates the literal hardware. And this is going to be crucial for us because it will actually simulate the actual speed of an old computer. And so we won't have to do anything. And we had issues with the sound command, I believe. That never really came out of DOSBox. DOSBox couldn't handle it. Well, the sound command works now and everything is glorious. And let me just make sure I'm recording it. Too many times have I tried to do an episode and it failed on me because I didn't hit record, but everything looks good. Okay, here we go. This is 86box. This is just sort of a GUI interface for it. And you can see I've got 2 computers here that I've set up. One is a 486, and we're actually going to configure it just because I want to show you what I built. And going back to AI, because I'm not a hardware guy. I just straight up, I am not a hardware guy. I don't really know the ins and outs of, what chipset goes with which thing, and I know my basics and that's about it. So what AI allowed me to do is to just give it a prompt and say, hey, I want to make a 486 in 86box. How do I configure this? And this is what it told me. And I'm pretty happy with these. So our machine is an i46 socket 3, whatever the heck that means, from 1994. You can see there's a massive amount of old machines to pick. This is the actual motherboard, I'm guessing, is the AIM.BAS 486. We've got a 486DX2 CPU, 66 megahertz. It could go up to 80, but I remember having 66. So that's great. We're going to have 8 megs of memory. We're going to have the dynamic recompiler checked. This apparently doesn't give true compatibility, but it also helps boost performance. So I'm gonna keep it on. And we're not synchronizing our time to our host machine. So for my display, I've got this. If anyone knows what this means, let me know. It's a Tseng Labs ET4000. AI, specifically Gemini. I was using Gemini for this. It tells me that was a pretty good one for back in the day. So that's what I made. And you can do some configuring here and give it some memory. I gave it 2 megs of memory size. Fancy. We've got a mouse, but we don't care. Sound, we have a Sound Blaster 16 because that's the only one I recognized. We don't care about the network or ports. The storage controllers, internal controller, you got a whole bunch of options here, but whoa, there goes my holy crow. Okay, I don't know what that was all about, but internal controller just means use the hard disk controller that's on the motherboard. And same for the floppy disk controller. So we don't have an external controller for these things. We're just going to use the motherboard. Hard disk, we built a hard drive. It's just a file sitting on my computer, but it's a beautiful hard drive. So you could see I made it 100 megs. I mean, back in the day, 100 megs was just a glorious amount of space. I didn't want to run out of space, so I made it 100 megs. Cool thing is you can set it to have a speed. So RAM disk is just access this disk as fast as your actual computer can access it. But you can actually slow it down, because back in the day our disks were spinning disks and some of them didn't spin as fast as others. So 5400 RPMs, and I've got a 3.5-inch floppy drive. Pretty self-explanatory, and I did give myself a CD-ROM, although I don't have it configured and it doesn't actually show up on the computer, so whatever that means. Yeah, I have no removable devices or other peripherals. So anyway, that being the case, let's run this thing, and I'm really excited because what happens is you actually run a computer. And as soon as it starts up here, I'm going to go full screen. And so you can see this is exactly like booting up a computer. We could even, go into the BIOS. I had to go into the BIOS to set up some of the floppy disk stuff, but this is what it's like to turn on a computer way back in the day. So this is cool. Now what this is going to let us do, you can see I've put some stuff on here. I installed, we've got DOS 5, which came with QBasic, but I've also got Quick Basic, basically. Quick Basic, basically. Nice. Quick Basic installed on here as well. I put it on there because a lot of our files was saved in that binary Quick Basic format, so we're going to need that. And yeah, I mean, there's nothing to this. There's not even Windows. It's just a DOS 5 computer, and it's awesome. And so I thought we would go from here into an episode. And there's a series of games called AIM. We have AIM, AIM 1, AIM 2, AIM 3. I don't know what they are. They didn't look very complicated though, so I thought we would just go and explore the first one in this episode where I introduce 86box. So that being the case, let me get in here. I have this directory that I just carry around all the time. This Quick Basic directory from computer to computer to computer, and this has actually got a redundant Quick Basic version inside of this directory. So I didn't need to install it on the computer anyway. Too many words for me. Let's just get this, I think. Yeah, yes, there it is. QB for Quick Basic. I think this is Quick Basic. I think it's Quick Basic. Run, let me see. Yeah, make exe. This is Quick Basic. Okay, let's open up AIM.BAS and let's have a look at this. This is, for the first time, running QBasic on a real computer that just happens to be emulated. So take that for whatever you want. Anyway, let's see what happens when we run this. 2-player, question mark? No, it's just me, thanks. Okay, so I got this thing and it's green and red and it's a circle and there's a little guy at the bottom. Arrow keys do nothing. Okay, the numpad does something. So this is probably my brother's program. Okay, up and down don't do anything, but left and right do. So I'm going to assume I line this guy up and hit 5. That's usually the fire button. 78 out of 100. 66 out of 100. There is a very slight black mark. 88 out of 100. Oh, you know what this is? This isn't a bad guy. This is literally a bullseye. Ho-ho, 98 out of 100. And so then I guess 96. Oh, I guess you get 5 shots. Not bad. Okay. I mean, there you go. There's a silly little game. What if it was two player? Yes. Yes. So like normal, I'm aiming. Ooh, 98. Good. Okay, and now I'm assuming this is player 2, although there's no indication that it's player 2. 94. Okay, let's just get through this. Minus 144. He starts you off so far to the left. Oh. I am not sure what I'm doing. I'm just trying to quickly get through this. 54 out of 100. 76. Come on, 22. 74. 16 out of 500. Horrible. Shooter 1 is better. Okay. Okay. So that is it. Okay, let's take a look at this, because this seems simple enough. Okay, declare sub guy. I'm assuming that draws the guy, but we'll have a look when we actually use it. This is our random number generator. As always, we have a shared array to hold our picture. This is the guy. So we're going to run the subroutine guy, which is going to do all of this stuff. And this isn't really that groundbreaking. One of the things, these draw commands, this is like set the pixel at 6.5 and then draw down 2 pixels, draw down into the, I can't remember. F is down and to the right. Yeah. Anyway, this is like the old turtle graphics, and I know we've talked about this in lots of other videos, but hey, it's been 3 years since I looked at any of this stuff, so it's a good reminder for me. But yeah, this is essentially just set the pixel, do some turtle drawing, if you recall the turtle drawing. Basically draw with your pen and go up and down on the diagonals and do it again and do it again and throw some paints in there to fill the color, and boom, you get yourself a guy. So I have to say it's a very detailed guy. It's not straight edges. He used a lot of diagonal lines, so that's nice. That is pretty cool. Okay. Okay, and then we get grabs that portion of the screen and puts it into the variable shooter. We clear the screen and we go back to the main subroutine, where we randomize the timer and go into screen 12, which is 640 by 480 pixels with 16 glorious colors. Okay, TX is 300 and TY is 51. Okay. Input 2 player into yes string. All right, so yes. Okay, yes is anything. I'm curious to see what he does if, well, yeah, what happens if I say no? Okay, so that worked. What happens if I say, get out of here? Okay. I don't know. I don't know. Does that mean it's two-player or not? Anyway, let's continue. So we're going to do a loop 1 to 5 times because we got 5 shots. X is now a random number. Let's see. Between TX is 300. So this is a random number of 200. Yeah, basically 150, from 150 to 350. Whoops. Okay, that's what that is. And y equals 380. Okay, so x is a random number. Ay, ay, ay. Score 0. Okay, we have a commented out clear screen. Now we're going to draw all the circles at tx and ty. Okay, so tx and ty are the xy coordinates of the bullseye. The target, oh, of course, T for target. And yes, so this first number is the radius size. The second number is the color. And then the last number is the ratio of the horizontal axis and the vertical axis. So this is basically a circle that is squashed flat so that it's half as high as it is long. So it kind of makes it look like you're looking at it from like a isometric view or something like that. If we change this to 1, which is the default, then this would become a full circle. But that's clearly not what we want. Or not what he wanted anyway. Okay, so we're going to draw the target. Whoops. Okay, and then we're painting green, red, bright red, and blue. 2 is blue, right? Yeah. 2 blue? I don't know. I'm so bad at colors. No, 2 is green. 2 is green. Okay. Okay, so we draw our target and we put the shooter at XY. So X, remember, that was a random number between 150 and 350. So we're randomly placing the guy. That makes sense. And then we are getting inputs. So we're looking at the keyboard, but we're not waiting for keyboard input. We're just looking quickly, instantaneously. Has there been a button push? If there has, and it's 52, then decrease X, which is your X position. So that's 52 is must be 4, must be the number 4. And otherwise, if you hit the number 6 on the numpad, then you move over 1 to the right, and 53 would be 5. And he's got a play command here that he's commented out. Oh my goodness. Let's uncomment that and let's hear it. This is when we shoot. Okay. That's not anything glorious. Yeah, it's just actually 2 very quick. So a 20th and a 50th note that is 4 octaves below the default. I can't remember what ML means. Each note plays full length, it says. Okay. But what's full length for a 20th note and a 50th note? That's not very long at all. Anyway, okay. And then we're going to loop until we actually shoot. So, okay, so that's cool. So it's just getting input, you're moving to the left and the right. Once you shoot, you come out of this loop, and we put a pixel where you are on the X coordinate, but we're going to shunt it to the right 14 pixels. And I'm assuming that's because 14 pixels is the distance between the center of the guy and his gun. Can we easily see that in the drawing of the guy? Probably not. This is madness. I think that's the case, though. All right, so we put a pixel on the target in a gray color. Now, if it is less than the X value of the target, so X plus 14 is the X coordinate of your shot. If it's less than the target's X value, which is the dead center of the, at the bullseye, then your score is going to be the X coordinate. Oh, it's just the difference in your coordinates. Okay, so if I was 10 pixels off, my score would be reduced by 10. But if I get a perfect shot, my score is, I mean, he's using TX, and TX is $300. So for a perfect oh, what am I? No, of course not. Because X is dependent on TX. And so, yeah, this is literally just your pixels, the pixel difference. Yeah, this is what's tripping me up. He's setting that to score. And if you get a exact bullseye, score is going to be 0 here. That's what's tripping me up. But he's doing things with the score below. I should read ahead of it. Okay, so otherwise, if you shot to the right of the target, I mean, the same thing. You're gonna do the same thing. He could have used absolute values, but hey, why use absolute values when you can test two different things? Okay, then now this is where he manipulates the score. So if score is 0, then it becomes 50 minus 0 times 2, which is 100. And so for every pixel off that you are, your score goes down by 2. So it's impossible to get 99. I think we saw that. And then you print your score and you sleep for 2 seconds and your skill gets increased by your score. Okay, next times. You're given 5 times to do that. And then, okay, you just print skill. Why does he have a comma and a semicolon? What's that about? I know this. Let's see. There's the comma and the semicolon. If all arguments are omitted, a blank line is printed. The optional characters, comma and semicolon, are details. Fun times. Okay. I don't see anything about, if a comma or semicolon terminates the list of expressions, the next print statement prints on the same line after spacing accordingly. Okay, if the printed line is wider than the screen, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so this just keeps it on the same line. And this probably, I have to know. print, let's just go 5, comma 6, semicolon 7. What does that look like? Whoa. So that was a huge... So it's like a tab stop or something. Interesting. Why didn't it say any? If the number's positive, if the number's negative, there are 2 formats. It uses a floating point. Print statement. Maybe there's something with... Maybe if I print 5 and then apples. So the semicolon puts a space. The comma puts some kind of a tab thing still. Okay. So I guess that's how he's getting it. I guess the... Oh my goodness. I guess the yeah, your score was quite moved over on the screen. So I mean, that's probably how he was doing it. Okay, whatever. I'm getting too far into the weeds here. So anyway, you're printing your skill. If you got less than 300, you're horrible, and so on. Not so good, not bad, pretty good, very impressive, almost perfect, and a crack shot for 500. Excellent. If yes equals yes, or yes equals y, so basically, no matter what you do at the beginning, what you input, player 1 is always going to play his game. Then we'll check if you actually wanted a second player. If the second player is playing, then wait for 3 seconds and do everything the same except use a score with an E, because this is a different variable. You know, heaven forbid we call it score 2 or something like that, but no, score E equals 0. And I'm guessing everything is the same. It's all the same. The same, score. Just copy and paste and copy and paste. Why do anything in subroutines when you can do it twice? Okay, then we print, oh my goodness, I missed that. He's got skill. Skill! So skill is the second player's skill. Excellent, which is just a running tally of his total score. Okay, and the same thing, whoops. But now we can print player 1's skill, print player 2's skill, and decide which one is better. And if they're the same, then you say draw, and otherwise say shooter 1 or shooter 2 is better, and you're done. Well, there you go. There's AIM. There's AIM. And yeah, I think that's, I mean, for what it's worth, why not? Why not duplicate an entire, basically your entire program and change 2 variable names? This is the hanging our heads in shame, folks. That's how we do it. That's how we do it. Thanks for joining me today. Have a good day, and we will see you next time.